It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning. I love that music. Is everyone pumped? Yes, good morning. It's Ron. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is Tech for Senior Live. It is May the 18th, a gorgeous day in Comox, British Columbia. That's where I'm from. I'll be introducing our staff in a minute, our esteemed panel we have to look at the news of the week. This is a show about looking at tech news of the week. We're going to talk a little bit about AI today. Lots of news about AI with Sam Altman on Capitol Hill, all sorts of things happening. So we'll talk a little bit about AI. Then we're going to get to all the tech news of the week. Now, if you're new here, you're probably wondering, who the heck are we? Well, we'll tell you about that in a minute. But we're really a group of seniors from our Monday show, which of course is called Tech for Senior. And it is a Monday show. We broadcast every Monday. And you know, we've been doing it now for 4 years, right, Huey?
Yes.
Amazing. 4 years we've been going on. So but here's the catch. That's a Zoom meeting. So if you're over on the Zoom, over on our Zoom feed, and I see a few of you are already logged in, you're in the wrong place. Because we don't, this is not a Zoom meeting. This, of course, is, we run this on StreamYard, and we have it zoomed, we have it streamed out to, of course, Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to go over to our website, which is www.techforsenior.com, there's a red button there. Click the red button, and it'll take you to the right place. It's real simple. Just click that red button, and it will take you to the right place. Now, the other problem with having our meeting through like we're doing today is we have no idea who's watching. We could simply be sitting here, talking to ourselves. We have nobody who the audience is. So if you could put in the chat where you're from, what the weather's like. Most of you have come to the show all the time, so we know who you are. But if you are new, please let us know, because we'll give you the big round of applause that we give all our new viewers. And we do want to, of course, thank you if you are watching this today. Thank you for coming. We do appreciate it. If you're watching this on a YouTube replay, thanks again. It's really important that you do that. And then if you are watching this on a YouTube short, just click the link and it'll take you right to the recorded show. So thank you again so much for coming. We have a great show for you today. Lots of news for you. Let me introduce our esteemed group that we've assembled from across the world. So we're in different countries, different parts of countries, and through the magic of technology, we're all here in one screen, which is sort of cool. So let me introduce my partner, which for our Monday show, Huey Poplick. We've been doing the show now, as I said, for 4 years. We also have a show coming up next Thursday, right after this, which is what, Huey?
Learning Chromebooks.
That's right. We've been doing that for 4 years as well.
Yes.
So we have a big event next week. So if right after this show, if you are interested in learning Chromebooks, you can certainly go again to our website, and you can register, because you have to register. It's free, but you need to register for it, right, Hugh?
Yes.
So we've got a busy week coming up.
Yeah, and I've got 2 forums for Stug that I'm doing. One is just on general technology. I play a couple of videos, sometimes one of Bob's things, and then we talk about. We use that as a basis for a discussion. And then on Friday of next week, for the Stug members, I'm going to do something on AI and just talk about AI for an hour, and see if I get some interest in that. But that's going to be strictly, you have to be a member of Stug to be a part of it. Except I think Bob volunteered to help me.
Speaking of Bob Gastisha is, of course, our security expert on our Monday show, Tech for Senior. He talks about all the security news of the week. But I think that what Bob really is, he's a great guy, and he also has a lot of knowledge other than just security. And he's a prolific producer. Is that there you go? Prolific producer of videos on all sorts of technology issues. So we're so lucky to have him on the show today. He just came back from a big holiday. He made it back to Los Lunas, New Mexico, right? He's in his home studio now. Welcome back. You slept in your own bed last night?
Yeah, that was nice. Even though I can't complain, the beds where I stayed for the 2 weeks, they were comfortable.
Right.
And the company, of course, was great.
Right.
The weather, not so good. Texas had 2 weeks worth of rain, and those are the 2 weeks that we picked. So we got to spend a lot of time with the people we visited. We didn't get to do much else.
There you go.
And it was sunshine the second we left Texas. As soon as we got into New Mexico, the sun was shining. And of course, this morning we got some rain here in New Mexico.
Send a little our way. We're dry as a bone.
Yep.
All right. And then, of course, also today we have a regular on our Monday show. He's part of our Tech for Senior staff. We've called him the gadget guy, and he writes an article about gadgets, but Bill James is not just a gadget guy. He's a very smart man who not only he's ambidextrous. He does Mac and he does Windows. I guess you're tridextrous because you probably have a third hand that you use as well. So it's you do such a lot of, you're such a smart guy, and Bill does our Windows tips and also has started doing Mac tips on our Monday show. He's a very popular guy. He does a lot of work with APCUG, and we're so happy to have you today on the show, Bill.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. So anyway, that is our group today that we've introduced ourselves. That's who we are. Huey, is there anyone out there that's listening to us, or are we all just talking to ourselves?
No, we got quite a few out there, as a matter of fact.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look and see what they had to say.
Gene Ligenfelter. Gene says 58 degrees and sunny. PA is
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, right. Pennsylvania, 58 degrees and sunny. PC Builder is right. I built PCs for a small business back in the day and got parts that fit but did not work. Well, together, always problems.
That's from an article that we'll be talking about.
Okay. Ed says, hi all, 60 degrees sunny in central New Jersey. Bernard, Sterling Heights Computer Club, Detroit, Michigan. Olive Cousin, hi from the office. She's working. Hold it. I guess today. When you're retired, it doesn't matter, does it? Jolyn, oh, hi, Jolyn. Greetings from Low Country of South Carolina. Jolyn, of course, is well known to us. She's a tireless worker for her computer club. She does techie. She's done a lot of tech work. She does it every day. She helps seniors. She's just a great person. And she also helps us with our Learning Chromebook session. To remind Jolyn, don't forget next Thursday, Learning Chromebooks.
This Thursday. Oh, no.
Yeah,
don't
Thursday.
Thursday
Not an hour from now.
Not today. No.
I gotta get my video done. Yeah. Gene says problems are what keeps the hobby interesting? Geeks on Tour. Geeks on Tour. Chris Gould, the famous Chris Gould, that's written many books on Google Photos, will be our guest speaker on Monday. So everyone's excited about that, and she's going to be talking on photography. It's going to be a great, so you will not want to miss our Monday meeting. This is going to be a very special meeting. So hello guys, Chris here from South Florida, right? So great news. Mike Ungerman. Mike is, of course, he's on our Monday show, a regular. He talks about a lot of different things, but we're talking about EV cars right now, and we're doing a whole series on electrification of cars and all the ramifications of that. Mike says, back from Nebraska, seeing family. Nice to be in Florida. Son charging. He's always got a big smile on his face because he's sitting by his car, and he's got solar panels on the roof. So he charges his car, and he sits out in the driveway by his car with a big smile in his face because he's making money. Who makes money buying gas but Mike, right? Jolin says, oh yes, technicalities.
That's cute.
Yeah. Jeff, 62 degrees, sunny, Long Beach, California. Jeff, I love that word, Jolin. Gene says, problems not interesting for customers. That's true. That's true. Gerald says, West Seattle, 62 degrees, sunny. Some smoke from BC and Alberta.
You guys smoking in
well, Alberta's burning. Like the whole province is on fire, and a lot of that smoke is heading our way and down through Seattle. Although it's pretty sunny here, it's perfectly clear, so we're not getting a lot of it yet. Liz from Ohio, sunny and 62 degrees. Bob Baxter, Bellevue, Washington, 80 degrees today. It's going to get up there. Yeah, it's going to be a hot one. Ivana from Argyle, Texas. Bob didn't have a good experience down there. Steve says, Steve Powell from Kirkland, Washington, 64 degrees and sunny. Sally from Kirkland, Washington. We have smoke from Canada. Yes, I think it's coming south. Betty says 82 degrees, Clearwater, Florida. Charles Harchin, Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. Chris Rosansky, 71 degrees sunny. Ron, your recent YouTube video tips and video was great. Chris and I, of course, taught Chromebooks many years. We are friends back from my Silver Age days, and when I was in an RV in Mesa. And Chris and I taught Chromebook technology. We talked about Chromebooks. We did that for 2 or 3 years. So we're both Chromebook fanatics. And welcome, Chris. Thanks for listening. Thanks for talking about my video as well. Thanks a lot. Dick says, good morning, good afternoon. This week, I completed a survey from Spectrum asking about my familiarity with and interest in 10G internet. Hopefully, it will be affordable. Well, keep us posted on that. I'm really interested in that. Let me know how it works out.
Okay.
All right.
We're caught up.
We're all caught up. We got to get to work. We got to look at some articles here. So the first thing we wanted to talk a little bit about today was I wanted to talk about AI. Now,
there goes the rest of the show. We're going to talk about AI now.
I know, and I said to everyone today, I said, "Look, we got to summarize this. We're only going to do it. I promise the whole show is not where we got all these articles to talk about. So we're going to get on to that. So we're not going to belabor this point, but it is in the news. It was in the news big time this week, and I wanted just to it started the news is that Sundar Pichai, who of course is the CEO of Google, said AI will impact every aspect of our lives. So I just wanted to quickly go around the table and say, look, how has it affected your life? And I'll start, and then we can maybe just do the four of us, but we got to keep it quick. I guess the thing that's really affected personally with me is two things. One is I'm a terrible writer. Although I've got a lot of education, I never was a good writer, and it's a big stumbling block for me personally when I have to do newsletters, when I have to write descriptions for my YouTube videos, stuff like that. I'm just not good at that, and AI has been so helpful for me and has really changed my life and made what I do a lot easier to do. So I guess that would be the biggest thing that affects me. Huey?
I use AI to not to write things, but to rewrite them. Like you, I'm not the best writer in the world.
Right.
So I write my normal article and then feed it to AI and say, reword this.
Right.
And so it's the same facts. It's just much better written.
They do a good job. Right?
Yeah, and then I've been using the text to image quite a bit to create some images.
Right.
And I've also used some text to video to create some videos to advertise. One was one of the organizations I belong to. It's time for dues. So I had it create a song and actually sang the song using AI. And then I did another one, which is an ad for my Windows SIG that I haven't shown anybody yet.
Okay. Bob?
I use it for lots of things.
Yes.
Number one, I've had a secretary most of my life, so spelling was never my best
Same
point.
here. Yeah, that's
Grammar,
right.
same thing.
Right.
Yeah, I can catch when someone is bad in their writing, but usually I don't catch it when I'm guilty of the same thing.
Right.
So it helps with that. Also, it's a great starter when you're looking for topics. If you feed it the proper information, it can get you going when you hit a stumbling block. And that's one of the things quite often, gee, I have to get something out, but I just don't know where to start. So if you can just use it to get you started in the right direction, and then you use it afterwards to peruse what you've come up with to make sure that at least it sounds good to everybody else, not just to yourself. It is a great tool, but use it like a tool. That's where most people stumble because they think it's infallible, and it certainly is not.
Right.
We're getting an echo. At least I am. Okay, I'll have to figure out why.
Bill, go ahead.
I agree with all three of you. I use it for writing. I enjoy writing, but I think being able to use Chat GPT to kind of refine your craft is a wonderful tool. I also use it for research, and you can't take everything, of course, for granted. But that's just like anything else, is that you always have to review and look at things through your lens. But there's a lot of really many ways you can use it for. Like, I also use it for bullet points. For when if I'm going to prepare a speech for something, I'll use that as to kind of focus in on my key points. So it's a wonderful tool, and I think it can be taught in that light as well.
Okay. Now, so let's go on to the next article about this. And of course, as you know, Sam Altman was on Capitol Hill this week, and he, of course, is the founder of ChatGPT. And I guess the question is, he was arguing for government regulation on ChatGPT. He thought AI needed government regulation. Which is interesting, and so I thought, Huey, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, but one of the things that he was mentioning is the fact that he's concerned about the election coming up, the presidential election next year, and that both sides are going to be using it, and he wants some regulation before that.
Good point. I mean, that's pretty scary stuff. You saw some of the stuff that you can create on. It's not very nice.
You can put hair on Bob G. You can do almost anything.
There you go. That's right. Those of you who saw our Monday show last week, I put hair on Bob, and so there you go. So Bob, what do you think? Do you think it should be regulated or not, or what are we talking about?
Regulated, but the question is, who regulates it? How does it get regulated?
Boy, that's
And
tough.
do you allow one side to regulate when there's always three sides to every story? So this is where you need to be very careful.
You know,
Well,
it would seem to be,
they have to come to us and ask for our opinion.
but I guess the problem I see is that if you ever decide what the regulations would be, that this is going to morph itself into something different so fast, those regulations are going to be outdated. I think this is just such a fast evolving time right now that it's going to be not possible to do that. What do you think, Bill? What I mean, I just don't see.
I think it's far too early to start regulating anything regarding AI, because I think it's going to stymie the development, because people will be fearful to explore the possibilities. And I don't think um, I just don't agree with it. I don't understand the political thing that he's alluding to. Uh, so I mean,
Yeah, it's complicated. So we're not
it's
sure.
it's just not.
It's not
I think it's the wrong time. It's too early to
too
even.
early. Okay.
Um,
So let's go on and let's look at some
Ron,
regulation.
right now, Microsoft seems to have an upper hand. So for Microsoft to want to regulate, does it mean they want to keep everybody else out? That's the fear that I have.
So speaking of regulations, this is an interesting article. It was just published May 17th. And professor flunks all his students after Chat GPT falsely claims it wrote their papers. And this came from the Texas A&M University, where commerce students who have already graduated were denied their diplomas because of an instructor who incorrectly used chat AI software to detect cheating. So what happened was they were going to go up and go across and get their diploma at the big graduation ceremony, and they were denied. They had this whole class said, no, you can't have your diploma. And like they what? And they said, yeah, we're rescinding your grades or whatever. And some professor had ran Chat GPT against the papers, and Chat GPT said, yes, I wrote all these, right? And so that was plagiarism. So they said, no, this means you've all got to redo your papers and da 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 da. Well, it turns out that you read the article again. The article's posted on our site. Is that ChatGPT doesn't do that, and in fact, it was all in error, right? So it wasn't factual at all. These kids were honest; they'd done the right thing, and this. So the professor didn't understand exactly the technology of ChatGPT. Interesting, eh?
That's what happens when the professor doesn't know the product. And instead of understanding what you use the product for, assumes that it is infallible. So the infallibility lies with the professor, not with the AI.
So how would we expect on Capitol Hill for these people to figure it all out?
They won't.
You know, that's going to be a difficult one, right?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
my opinion is that I think educators are approaching this all wrong. Rather than teaching their students how to use Chat GPT, they're banning it and putting all kinds of obstacles. I mean, it's a wonderful tool. You can teach students how to use it properly, how to use their minds to come up with ideas to put into the tool, and you're going to have wonderful results. I mean, but if you just take the approach that, they're not doing original work, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, it's just the wrong approach, in my opinion.
And what you're seeing in the newspaper is a lot of negativity and scare tactics. Yet I follow a lot of the education groups and pages on Facebook, and a lot of them are showing ways in which teachers can utilize it to create not only create their own outlines to what they're going to be covering, and they're also showing them how to use it with their students, from little students to high school students.
So I thought about an analogy today, and this probably will, as seniors, you'll understand this, but if you're young people listening, you won't understand this. So let's go back to when we were in school, in primary school, right? Or actually, maybe let's take junior high. Let's go up to grade 6 or 7, and you cursive writing. Do you remember you all took cursive writing, and you had to write out, and you had to print your little stuff, right? Now, how many of you took typing? All right. So once you get to high school, typing was an option, but whoever took typing, the only people that took typing was if you were going to be a secretary, and nobody was doing that. They were all going to want to go to university. So typing wasn't anything anyone took, right? Because we didn't have PCs. We didn't even have electric. I think the electric typewriters just started to come in, right? So, I mean, people don't understand this, right? So fast forward now, right? Nobody teaches cursive writing anymore. It doesn't happen. The cursive writing is not taught in schools. Typing is a big skill that everybody needs. You need keyboarding skills because it's the main interface we use for everything now. How things have changed. So I guess maybe in 20 years, maybe people will play this video back again and will say, boy, that was weird what they were talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, see, I can remember when calculators wasn't around. And I can also remember when ballpoint pens wasn't around.
Yeah. Do you remember the old in the
fountain? If you want to keep secrets from the youngsters, write cursive.
Yeah.
They won't know what you're saying.
Coded language.
They can't. There was somebody that was at our club recently that was asking for volunteers that understood cursive, because there's a lot of documents that are written in cursive that needs to be translated.
Oh,
and younger people can't read it.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Wow.
And I can remember I've been in the user group movement for many, many years. When people first started, we'd have to teach them how to use a mouse. You'd have a class on using a mouse.
Right. But it's so interesting. When I was in, I thought about this a lot this morning. I thought when I was in high school, nobody took typing. It was just, there was no use for typing unless you were going to be a secretary, because there was no computers. There was no that it wasn't that's the only person that would be doing typing. It was totally different, right? It was really weird.
I took typing because I was going to have multiple study halls. Yep. And so it was open, and so I took that as an elective. But but it wasn't. But you're correct, and the class was geared to women that were going to be secretaries.
That's right. Yep.
So
no guys ever took typing.
We had a fun time in that class. I never did learn how to type right.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Let me tell you, our typing teacher was a taskmaster. We had blind keyboards.
Oh, really?
He was really strict about us learning how to type. And I credit her to saving my life, because I was draft age. So when I got drafted, I was placed in clerk school because I could type.
Oh, there you go. So it was a skill. Listen, we got to get on with this. Huey, is anybody out there listening? We got anything?
Oh yeah, we got a bunches of things here.
Okay, let's see what the people are saying.
Okay, let's see.
Looking at the
this is the other half of the geeks.
Oh, Jim says hi from Geeks in South Florida, right? Geeks on Tour.
He got that same echo that I got. Okay.
It's sort of like the FDA,
Federal Drug Administration.
Yeah. Mike says new Med Palm 2 can help answer questions, summarize insights from a variety of dense medical texts. Google plans to sell subscriptions to medical professions and the general public, I think. AI can help seniors with their myriad of prescriptions, determining side effects, medications, interactions, good output to discuss the ones with doctors. Yeah. Vale, of course, is a good friend of mine. We did a lot of work with computers in Mesa. since there is little intelligence on Capitol Hill, I would be reluctant to have that group make any decisions on A. That's it, Phil. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Can't even get our budget right, and they want to regulate AI. Amazing.
Jim says, or Chris or Jim says, Google can read cursive. I don't know. Can it?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's ways. Yeah.
Is there? Okay. All right. Cool. That's great. Chris says, banning AI is hopeless and stupid, but regulation is something else. Yes, regulation will be hard, but it needs to be done. We need validation of models used for training. We need fact checking, something like the FDA and nutritional labels. Dick Vogel says, in our school, people who plan to go to college were encouraged to take typing. No, that wasn't sort of the way I, not in our area. Mike says, and our 3-year-old great granddaughter has her own tablet, browses KidSay sites, and chats with us daily. I know, that's right? Exactly, but doesn't take cursive writing, I'm sure. Jolin says, my 9th grade biology teacher was also my typing teacher, and I still write cursive on a daily basis. There is a true pleasure in nice handwriting.
We used to learn.
I can't do it anymore.
Handwriting. As an art.
Yeah, JJ says young cashiers are even having problems giving change because most people are using cashless. That's true. That's absolutely true. And that's why McDonald's, you don't do that anymore. Like, they don't want to deal with change because people can't give the proper change out. It's unless the cash register says this is exactly how much you have to give out, right?
Yep.
Jolin says, I use handwriting feature to input text on my Samsung tablet and love it. Yep. That's a good point. Yep. Very good. John says the tablet reads both cursive and speech, probably, eh? And block print. Sure. Chris says the regulation of AI in chat is all about the fear of losing control and the continued ability to tell lies and have the diminished ability to get away with it.
True.
Isn't that what's happening now?
Yeah. Geeks on Tour. Yes, Google can read cursive handwriting. Google has few tools that can turn handwriting into text. The first one is Google Drive. There you go.
Correct.
All right. Thanks so much. Let's get on with the articles today. We're going to move over now. And just to let everyone know, as we go through these articles, if you want to come over to our Facebook page, this is the link on our Facebook page. You can come over there, just Tech for Senior, and you can follow the articles as well as we go through them. So let's come over, and we will come over here, and I'll share my screen. And we will share this. And I think we can see it. Let me see if I can just make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Hold on. A bit bigger?
Yep.
Let's see how that goes. All right, let's come down. I think Bill had the Huey. Did you sneak one in on Bill?
Well, about an hour ago.
Bill had the first one. All right, Huey, you got it today. Go ahead.
All right, it's new dark BERT AI was trained using the dark web data from hackers and cyber criminals. There's actually now a dark internet-based AI going out and looking at all the data and information is out on the dark web. They are not making it public, but they are using it. The government agencies are using it. And I think that's a good thing. They're able to get out there and research what's going on much easier than they could in the past.
All right. Bill, see, you weren't first, but you were second. So well done.
Yeah, this was, I remember years ago, I built a couple PCs, and one of the issues were, of course, I think someone alluded to, was getting the parts. So Newegg has come up with build your perfect computer using their version of ChatGPT. So they're providing you the parts list and everything that should be compatible with the other components that you purchase. So that's a great idea.
So I guess what we talked about earlier, Bill, is we talked about mostly writing and what we're doing. This is an application of AI in something we're purchasing, right?
Exactly.
So it's a different idea. So it will affect all our lives in different areas. Mike Ungerman mentioned healthcare, right? We haven't even talked about healthcare and all the things it can do. So there are a lot of things this will affect. So this is really,
go ahead.
There's a lot of things this is going to affect, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of AI websites and apps that are geared towards the restaurant business, towards
Right.
the lawyers and legal profession, and of course the doctors and accountants. So there's a lot of uses in a lot of different professions, which are going to affect those professions. And so people in certain jobs now may find those jobs eliminated, and they're going to have to learn about AI so they can utilize their knowledge in a different way and stay in the industry.
Hugh, you bring up a good point in that if you don't learn this, you're going to get left behind, right?
Yep.
I think so. All right.
It's kind of like what the internet was when it started getting popular and being used by businesses. Understanding the internet and understanding social media and so on. If people weren't doing that, they got left behind.
Okay. This was an article I was interested in because I have a personal hate for Google Drive. I find it very confusing to find things. And I've taught Google Drive for a very long time. And I just find it confusing. And this is interesting. Google Drive testing new homepage that auto suggests files and folders. So maybe they're going to make this easier. So I was all excited about that. So this is not available yet, but this is coming. So I'm going to be watching for this feature very carefully. This is I talked to Chris Gould about this. I know Chris is listening on the show today. This is a big deal. And this is, I don't know if there's been a number of articles out this week on Android 14 and the new feature called Ultra HDR. And this is really going to change photography. And it's going to be available on, I guess, the newer cameras with Android 14. And this is going to allow for much clearer colors. And it's, I guess we have this on televisions now. This is coming to your camera. And not only that, but there was an article, I think I sent it off to Chris, is that this is really going to change Google Photos, and Google Photos has a big upgrade coming to accommodate this Ultra HDR feature. So I guess I'm pretty interested in this. This has got a lot of play in the news this week. So I was wondering, did you guys see this? Or
what it's saying here is that it may only wind up getting to you if you have a Samsung Galaxy phone.
I think that's in the early stages because it's not going to be backward compatible. Of course, it'll be based on the technology for cameras, but it's going to allow for your smartphones to be able to capture this in these Ultra HDR format. So probably the Samsung initially will only have that, but we have a Pixel 8, phone coming out, which I'm sure will have this. And as we move forward, so this is a big deal. And we're going to hear, it's a lot like when we first reported Windows 11. And now, we talk about it all the time. I think another year from now, we're going to be talking about this a lot. All right. The other one was, Bob, you probably saw this. 1Password is now ready to launch PassKey on June the 6th. We talked a lot about passkeys in the past. This is if you are using 1Password, it will be.
I use Dashlane, and Dashlane already has it.
They already have it. Yep.
And it works like a charm.
It is very good. So if you are considering that, this is an option for you. This is the other one was Logitech. Now, I think we all must own a Logitech device, right? Like, who does not own a Logitech device, right? So they have now partnered with iFixit for self-repairs. So if you have a device that you want to fix, why you'd want to fix a $10 mouse, I'm not sure. But if you do have something you want fixed, you can now get the parts from iFixit. Oh, this is cool, Bob. Bob and I have Pixel phones. This is a new feature that's coming. I was super interested. This article just came out yesterday. But why can't your Pixel phone be a dash cam?
Why not? Why can't you do it right now?
Well, because actually, if you think about it, your Pixel phone has crash detection. It has all sorts of features that would work as a dash cam. So what is coming out in the new release, Google soon will let Pixel phones double as dash cams. I know I think Jim Gould has a Pixel 7, so that'll be, and they do lots of traveling, so that'll be an interesting one. So it's going to just clip on your screen, and there'll be an option for a dash cam. And I suspect that'll be an Android feature that will move on to other cameras as we move down the road. But I thought that's a watch for that. If you have a Pixel phone,
I'm sure Pixel 6 and 5 will both have this once it comes out.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Might be even some earlier ones.
Well, I mean, I have so many different dash cams that I've had, and I get tired of but I have my phone with me all the time, right? So it's sort of cool that you just clip it in and away it goes. Now, Bob, this is something we got to talk a lot about. Did you know, I was amazed at this. We talked a lot about Chat GPT, but the thousands of fake apps that are being published each month, like, it is nuts out there. It is so scary on the number. If you go to the Play Store, there are all sorts of apps. How do we know which are fake ones and which are real ones? This is a big issue.
But Ron, is it really surprising, considering that the hottest topic any place is AI and Chat GPT?
That's right.
So, the hackers are always taking advantage of the latest technology for their own benefit. So it's not really surprising.
So what we have to do is make absolutely sure we do our research before just installing an app from the Play Store, because that app may in fact not be good for you, right?
But there are fake antivirus programs,
right?
And people install them daily because, hey, they work, they look good, and the price is usually right, but it's not really an antivirus program. It's the exact opposite. The same happens with fake Chat GPT programs.
And there are so many ways that they can use the same data that Chat GPT uses, which is from OpenAI.
Yep.
There is just a plethora of apps that are available on a daily basis that come out for all kinds of things. And I'm subscribing to 12 different newsletters that are just dedicated to AI. And every day there's long lists of new apps and programs. And I look at them, and most of them, you can't sign into them unless you register for them.
Right.
You can't even see what they do.
So this is from Tom's Guide, and I would encourage for people to click the link and have a look and see what he says. It's really an amazing article. Thousands each month of these stuff coming out now.
Yep.
That's all scammers. This is a huge deal. So please be careful on that. And this was Amazon, of course, unveiled a whole slew of new devices this week, of which a lot of them are new Echo device. Yeah, and this is of course the Echo Pop, which is a speaker. Now, You can read the article and you can have a look at all these. And I'm not sure whether I want to spend more money on yet another Echo, since I have an Echo in every device in my house. But the one thing that's interesting about this is that you've probably heard of mesh routers, which are Eero routers. You've heard of mesh routers, and Amazon controls those, and that's an Amazon product. The interesting thing about these devices is they're Eero mesh compatible. So if you put these around the house, they all will join your mesh router and act as an access point for you. So that is an interesting concept if you have an Eero router. Anyway, just new, a whole slew of new ones.
Other than a better quality speaker in some of them is that fact of the mesh router compatibility. Other than that, there's not many new features with them.
No, and they've got a whole bunch of different ones that they brought out. I think that it's sketchy on whether I'm going to upgrade any of them. I mean, I don't really see a lot of advantage in them. But again, if you're an Amazon Echo person, they brought, just let everyone know, they brought a whole bunch out. Huey, is there any? Let's catch up a little bit on comments.
Okay, let me come back to StreamYard.
Minutes left.
Let's see where we were last. Let's see. Think we're here. Actually, I think we covered this one.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's the next one.
Clark Walker, I wasn't too worried about AI until Huey showed off a list of AI sites last Sunday. Are you scaring people?
I guess there are. I have just the AI sites that I have gone to and looked up and tried is getting to be an enormous list. And then I got a bunch more to try. And then and then, as I say, I'm subscribing to newsletters that every day I get a new bunch. And some of the newsletters, it'll take me an hour to get through that newsletter because I try and go to one, and then I got to come up with a password and log in, and then kind of look around and then try it, and then do some samples with it to find out whether and then find out whether they have a free or not version.
Now go on vacation for 2 weeks and see what happens.
Yeah, boy, you're way behind.
I had Geeks on Tour. I had an app years ago that was a dash cam. Oh, a dash cam on your phone. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. So we're through all of the messages.
Okay. Let's continue on. Huey, this is yours. This is next.
Yeah. You may not know or may not realize that there's a new local ATSC 3.0, which the TV stations are going to go to. And they're going to change the way they do their signals. And you're going to have a converter box in order to see the new channel, or to see the channels. And I believe it's even regulated that they have to do it by a certain time. So it's available in a lot of areas. And there's going to be about $120 for the conversion box. The newer TVs are going to have it built in, but they do not yet. I don't think I've seen it in any advertisements for some of the newer TVs, but they will. So if you just buy a new TV now, you may have to buy another one or buy a box within a year or so in order to get local TV off the air.
Okay.
But it's been stalled a little bit. There's a timeline set by the television industry, or by the government for the television industry, and the National Association of Broadcasters asked for some help from FCC because it has been stalled.
So before you get to this article, Huey, I went outside yesterday and I was talking to my neighbor on the right-hand side, and he's just doing a bunch of work on his house. And I looked at his front door and he's got a Ring doorbell. I didn't know that, right? I have a Ring doorbell. Then I went to my neighbor on the other side of the house. He's not home right now, but I thought I better check and see if he's got a Ring doorbell. He has a Ring doorbell. And I went down the neighbor on the far side and he's got a Ring doorbell. So I guess lots of these devices around.
Yeah, I have one too.
There you go. So Paul Thurrott wrote this. This is yours. Did I put this in, or did you? Yeah, this is your article.
Yeah, Amazon announces the new Alexa-powered Echo devices, but yeah, it's just a different one in the picture.
Yes, this is yours. The article on the professor. So if you want to read more about you can read that. And again, this is this OpenAI chief. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that before. Oh, Bob. So this is an interesting one. Belkin refuses to patch a security flaw in the WeMo Smart Plug V2. So I've got one of these. So
I got several.
What do we do with old devices that don't get patched? I mean, this is sort of a bummer, right?
Hope like heck they don't get hacked, and you're not one of the ones with the device that was hacked. That's about all you can do. What do you do with phones that no longer get patched?
Yeah,
many people continue to use them. Okay, and they're taking a chance on the fact that, hey, I'm not the one whose information they're stealing. But there's no way to know. If you've got a device that has been hacked and you continue to use it, you're
vulnerable.
Yeah, well, I don't have any of those Belkins. I'm sorry I said I had.
But I guess would I buy another Belkin smart plug if they're not going to stand behind them?
If the one that you're buying, the new one, is susceptible to the same hack, then it doesn't make sense. You buy somebody else's product. That will force them to make the patch available. But if you just continue to use it, you're susceptible.
So people need to be aware that even though they have these smart plugs around, that they need to watch for being up to date as well, because it's a security.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And there are patches. I've had mine updated a couple of times, my plugs, but apparently there's a flaw that it doesn't fix.
So this was a really interesting article. I sent it to Mike Ungerman this week. I said that why are EV registration fees so dang high? And what happens is this is an article that tells you all the registration fees, I think, in about 28 states that have EV cars. And so if you have an electric vehicle, that your registration can be much higher than a non-EV. Just to register, not insurance or anything. Just to register.
You got all of the money when you first registered as an incentive. They have to get that money back.
Well, but the problem is the fact that when you pay gas at the gas pump, you're paying road tax.
Correct.
And you're paying road tax. And if you're getting it from electricity, right, you're not paying road tax. So a number of states are saying, well, that's okay, but we're going to charge you on your registration an extra fee because we want some of that tax back. So I thought that was a very interesting article. I said to Mike that we should talk about this a little more on the show on Monday, because you have to factor this in to whether it's economical or not to buy an EV, right? You've got to add that added amount in. It's fine that you can say that you're saving all this money on gas, but if it all gets turned into a registration fee, where are we?
Most people don't realize that the fuel oil that most people use in the East is the same fuel oil that's burnt when you run a diesel engine.
Right.
Only the diesel engine has tax for road use improvements, and the fuel oil that you use isn't taxed. But there's nothing that says you can't siphon it out of your, and then you have untaxed number 2 diesel oil.
So Google will now delete your old email if you don't log in enough. And I think the article says 2 years. If you have not used your Google account in 2 years, then you will have it delete it. Now I'm assuming they're going to warn you about
Well,
that.
they said that they will have many, many warnings before it actually gets deleted. And if you disregard all of those, you're really not using it anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, I had at one time I had 35 Gmail accounts, and I've got it down now to a handful, and most of those are being forwarded to another Gmail, so they may go away too. And you know what? It's mostly junk mail anyway.
Yep.
So Huey, did Google delete them, or did you delete those accounts?
No, I went ahead. Well, they used to give me warning. Well, I had Google Voice numbers associated with them as well. And that I'd get a message saying Google Voice, you haven't used it. You either have to use it or it'll take the number away. And I said, well, I'm not using that email anyway. So I went ahead and deleted both. So, yeah.
I guess I looked at like, for example, our old computer club that's no longer functioning anymore and will not be in the future. They have a Gmail account. And I thought, should I delete the account? But then I started to do that and it looked complicated. I'd never done it before.
Yeah, it's just not easy.
It's not easy. And I thought, just leave it. What the heck, right? It just sits there and what the heck? So I don't care if Google gets rid of it, but it seemed, is it not, am I right about that? It seemed complicated to delete a Google account.
Yeah, it was for me as I recall.
Has anyone, maybe if anyone's listening, if they've deleted a Google account, let us know how easy it was. Your iPhone will be able to talk. Oh, this is cool. Did you guys see this one? This is so you can an iPhone, you can record your voice, right? And so when the AI, I guess the AI or whatever is in there is going to respond, it will respond in your voice, right? So I thought,
not for me.
Yeah,
what happens when somebody gets a hold of that? They now have your voice. Nope. Next
I did see excuse me, one of the AI new AI locations or apps or tools that are out there is one that you can record your own voice and then use it using text to speech. You can type in something and it'll say it with your voice. And I said, no, I don't want to do that for the same reason Bob just mentioned. However, if you think about it, Bob, our voices are out on all of our videos.
Yeah, but they'll have to copy it. It wasn't something I gave them.
Yeah.
And when you copy it, it's still not the same as if you're supplying it.
So just let you guys know, I was going to do this as a gag on our Monday show, and I was going to have Huey's voice dubbed over on mine. And so when I started talking, it would sound like Huey. And I got halfway through it and it was more complicated and a lot of more work than I wanted to do. So I didn't do it. Good. But it's interesting. It's interesting, right? We talked about that. Let's see here. What else? Let's come down. Bob, this is your security news work update. Did you want to mention about your Small Town USA videos that you're producing?
Small Town USA is a new feature that I started on, and it's digging into U.S. history and the importance of the small towns, not the big towns. We all know about big towns. These are all the small towns and their importance in American history. And I've decided to do 10 states from 10 towns from each state. So this is not a project that I'll be finishing today or tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be around long enough to be able to finish the project.
How many have you done?
So far there are 4, I believe, that are out there.
Okay. This of course is our Tech for Senior newsletter. And on the front page, you'll see a picture of Chris Gould from Geeks on Tour. And we're so lucky Chris is going to be the guest on our show on Monday. So if you want to come and learn all about photography, she will be the major program on our show this Monday, and that is Tech for Senior. And again, if you want to, well, just let me see. This is our website. If you want to find out the information on how to get to our meeting, that will be just click the button and go there, and it has all the information. So we're excited.
That's the best article to end with. We're getting pretty close to that time.
We are. But now here, I guess we can end on, well, maybe we got another. Anyway, this is an interesting one. You all remember this little device from Amazon that nobody thought was going to well, it was popular, but it ran around. But what was it actually going to do? Amazon is working on a secret AI home robot that can understand things and monitor whether kids had friends over after school. So could this be used as a babysitting device? Now, we're past that, but it could be used as a dog sitting device. I don't know. Anyway, this little device is really going to get a lot of play with AI in the future. So I thought that was interesting.
I would suggest that for next Monday, it's probably a good episode to sign in early for, because usually when Jim and Chris are there, we get filled up pretty quick.
Absolutely. Just one quick note here. There was an update recently, and if you are having problems with your Pixel 6 or 7 phone, the battery is draining. There was an article on there is a problem with the update, and it is causing a lot of power drain on your battery. So if you notice all of a sudden on your Pixel phone, it's not as good as it used to be, it could be related to the update. All right, I'm going to stop the screen share. It's top of the hour. Well, busy day, lots of articles to go through. I want to thank everybody for coming. It was a great, wow, that hour went by so quickly.
We got 3 more comments.
3 more comments. Let's deal with them. Hi, Dorothy. Many executors have never deleted Gmail accounts of deceased people. Exactly. Geeks on Tour, we'll let Chris talk in Bob's voice for her. No, don't do that. Vale says, if you use Alexa and record your voice, you are jeopardizing your security. Lots of things to think about. So listen, thanks so much. We'll see everybody on our Monday show, or if not, we'll be back same time, same place next week to go over all the news of the week. Don't forget, Chris Gould from Geeks on Tour will be on our show on Monday. Popular show, as Bob mentioned. Please get there early, because I suspect we'll fill up with our 100 Zoom slots early. Although you can watch it, we stream that over as well to YouTube, so you can watch it on our YouTube channel. So have a great week, and we'll see everyone soon. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.